defense can, for the most part, know what to expect, so you can really tailor your strategies to counter those, and there's not much you can really do about it on the attacker side. So I feel like that's why we really see Kafe lean on the defense favoritism. On that too, like looking at APAC stats, regular stage, Kafe has played once in APAC South, once in APAC North, so it really is down in some of the least kind of played areas of APAC. And yeah, I think that presents some excitement in one way though, because it means that we haven't seen a whole lot from teams on this map, so it could produce some surprises.
Well, surprises in terms of bans, I will say Twitch being one of them. I really feel like Elevate have actually made great use of Twitch in the playoffs so far. So to see that going out in the hands of the Chiefs doesn't exactly surprise me. Finka just seeing way too much play at the moment. The nades plus the boost, it just makes life a living hell. And of course, Intel denial to end with. I could see an Echo going out here, but it is going to be the Aruni, and that again is going to be a target ban onto Onigiri, who has just been one of the most menacing players on Elevate, but with Aruni period, he has just been an absolute demon. So, I don't know, do you make much of the ban phase?
Not really. I mean, like, interesting Thatcher's been left in, generally a pretty common ban. It feels like a lot of these are kind of a bit more targety. The Finker in general, it's got to be highlighted. You know, it's played so much these days. Was certainly pioneered by a lot of the Southeast Asian teams regardless before Finker really did come into meta. So, yeah, I don't know. They don't really do a whole lot for me in terms of how I think the map will play out. You know, Valkyrie also another really common ban. I think the Aruni one's quite interesting, but you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's played a lot by Onigiri himself, goes off with that DMR in particular, but do I think it'll have an impact in terms of strategy? Not a whole lot.
Now I'm really keen to see these repicks. It's something that we talk about quite often because we've seen Mirror and both Mirror and Thatcher banned so much in the last 12 months. I mean, Mirror's been banned, probably the most banned operator that we've had in Siege for the last 3 years. I mean, that's just as long as my knowledge goes back. But what I find really interesting is when these two operators are left in, very rarely are they actually picked and used in the way that you think the ban rate would actually warrant it. You know, like, it's almost like you're banning out like a smoke, I feel like. Because it's used so often, you would think that when it's in play, it has such a drastic effect. But you can see both squads have opted for no Mirror and for no Thatcher. So let's just have a look at how this plays out. Just an interesting note to take.
Yeah, look, I think to touch on that super quick as well, Mirror, very situational, I think, for a lot of maps and a lot of sites. And yes, 63% ban rate so far in the APAC playoffs with a 1.3% pick rate. So very polarizing, as you suggested. But we're in. Action's off here. And as you said, Kafe can be a pretty kind of checklisty map in terms of your attack, very procedural, as I said. So that's what we're seeing from Elevate right here. You know, they've gone to the roof, they started to put some pressure in from the external windows, as generally the key process that you kind of go through with this. To talk more specifically to the bomb site as well, being reading and dining, my gosh, I almost forgot. You just try and take top floor, take about 2 minutes to do so, and clear across the cocktail, but that is not going to help him bounce and just delete Angry X.
I feel like we're going to see a bit of a frag fest here from the likes of Bouncing and Bordy. If they're able to kind of have the space to roam, this is going to get really dangerous. And just like that, Mark has been able to find a trade back worthy going down. Red control in the hands of Elevate. Was he looking to shoot his own teammate there? I don't know. That seems super sus. But anyway, taking control of that top floor, but not entirely. Nowhere near to Cocktail or across to White Hallway, so there's still a lot they need to get done with a minute left.
Yeah, definitely still quite a lot. And that's something that Elevate can sometimes do. You know, like were known for a long time as a fairly aggressive team, but actually also sometimes they can be fairly cautious, and that can be a detriment at the other end of the scale, where they kind of put themselves in these positions where they have to do these like 10-second executes, and that makes it quite challenging. You can see here though, Mark has progressed quite deep through buy. He's got a nice angle through some holes that he opened into Cocktail, but Chiefs are standing up pretty strong here to the progression that Elevate have had, as Onigiri off the board without a kill on the scoreboard as well. And final 30 seconds, Elevate certainly have to get something happening here.
Yeah, and I feel like for the Chiefs, it's just about not allowing Elevate to find these picks. Sit passively, well, not too passive, obviously, to sit back and wait for the moves for Elevate. It's Mark. Finds the opening. Now, you got to realize there is a player down by Brown. I think that was who just died. It is 2. Bouncing now. He's pushed into mining. This is really dangerous. If someone drops down to what pillars, it should be a free kill. Ethan gets up close and personal with the SMG-11 and absolutely takes Mark out of this world. There is no time for Elevate. It has dwindled, and the Chiefs take map 1. The map 1, round 1. Jeez, maybe I am leaking the script. I apologize.
A little bit, mate. But no, look, round 1 very convincing for Chiefs there. I think Elevate kind of struggled through that mid-round. Lost the opening pick as well. As Angry X with the board. And look, to call that out, Angry X, man, he hasn't played a whole lot this stage, if any matches. I actually don't think he's played any matches this stage. So a bit of a rough one for him to have to come back in and fill in for, but it is what it is.
Yep. I guess at least it's not a qualifying match, right? It is a seeding match, which I guess it's probably not all that great, even considering, but certainly it's probably less pressure than what it could have been. Focusing down to the very, very bottom floor. Kitchen service now going to be underway here. And one thing that I've noted for the Chiefs on their defense, quite decent in terms of, wasting the first minute and a half on this second, third floor. And what they do really effectively is they fall back with enough time to then play for. So dare say we'll see an extension into VIP and holding from behind what I would imagine is Digital Shield when it eventually gets placed. So Elevate are going to have a lot to contest with here. Wait and see though, because knowing Elevate, they'll just go straight through Bakery.
They could do. Something that you kind of talked about there was that Chief's stall of Elevate, and I think in general it just made me think about the fact that something on Kafe as well, just given its proceduralness with attack, is keep an eye on drone economy, because that can really be key coming into mid to late rounds. If a team hasn't been careful with their drones, or the defense has done a really great job either shooting them or shutting them out with Mute or Mozzie, then it can really affect that late round play, because yeah, a lot of these executes will really happen far later, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, if not even shorter. In particular, for this kitchen bomb site, it's usually a fairly late execute. So if those drones dwindle away, it will always be a bit rough. You can see there's actually 6 still for Elevate. That's not too bad, and not too bad as well as getting that opening kill.
Certainly the right way you want to be starting, and onto all people, it's digital on the smoke. So no canister is going to be used here. Elevate taking a lot of the control into Bakery and to prep. This is where Chiefs money needs to be made. There's no top floor control from Elevate, which means Chiefs need to utilize this. They need to be able to find their ways in and shutting down this push.
This is really good progress from Elevate, but that's also great juggle from Voidy. He's going to take off some X-Kairos. At the same time as Bouncin capitalizes, there is at least a trade from Onigiri at the bus stop window. But this is looking much better for Elevate here. They've got a really big man advantage now, and they're only halfway through the round with some excellent progress.
Onigiri, as per usual, DMRs are just his zone. Whether it's the Dokkaebi or it is the Aruni, will be an absolute menace with the right weapon in his hand. So finding a quick 2-kill trade for the Chiefs is not ideal. That is where things start to fall out of control. But you look to the players that they have remaining. Worthy, the best player in ANZ for 2021. Getting my years muddled up now. Ethan, vertical line not going to be enough, but this has just got to be an Elevate round, Raven.
It does, but this vertical position, it really could be their undoing. Unfortunately, he hasn't caught the entry of Mark, and that's gone deeper than totally expected. At the same time, Onigiri's found his triple for the round. Manic post-plant for Ethan in a 1v4.
Going to be the quad here. Oh, really nice read from Ethan. My God, I don't see any yellow pings coming out either, so that's all. Just the experience. Hang on a second. 2 quick kills now gives him an opportunity, but the plant is in an awkward position to contend with. There's a player just outside of freezer window. And Mark confirms the kill. Chiefs, they let that one slide and Elevate. They take control.
Yeah, really good round from Elevate in the end. Obviously, the opening kill certainly helps things along, but what I really like is they kept it simple. That's the other thing that you can sometimes do on Kafe. Sure, checkboxy and procedural, but you can overcomplicate it, and that just burns away a lot of time. You might lose a lot of players in the process. That round, they just kept it simple. They monitored white nice and early, which is what got them that opening kill, and they just got direct through Bakery once they could push into that control. And as soon as they got that man count in their favor, there was kind of no going back.
Now, elsewhere, it's important to note that there has been a game being played for 5th and 6th place. Thanks to Dev for keeping us up to date on that one. Talon have beat Dab 1 Gaming Kia for 5th place. Now, for those of you that, wonder what's the difference between 5th place and 6th place, well, it is in fact 45 SI points, which, I mean, I don't need to say how important that actually is headed into the global tournament that will be toward the end or start of next year. But points are incredibly important. When they're there for the taking, you need to be able to grab them. Just for context, 2021 for SI, the pass mark was 115 with Chaos being the final team to kind of enter into that tournament. But certainly I would say that that was a bit of a how you going year. So most likely with the way things had reshuffled into 2022 and now what will be the, I believe it will be counted as a 2023 SI, I think that it's going to be really important to note small differences in the point system could end up making a massive difference.
Yeah, it's just like the regular stage points of the standings that we always talk about, right? But on a grander scale, if you don't bank in a lot of those points in the early phases of the season, being the year, then it can come back to haunt you when it comes closer to SI. You might have to find yourself playing last chance calls. So yeah, it's certainly something big. But point at hand there, Worthy, very lucky to get away with his life just then, because that was very close and a really good flush out, obviously, of Pixel from Elevate.
Top floor control of the utmost importance in terms of Cigar. There's absolutely nothing here that the Chiefs are contesting. Pixel probably under control, but outside of that, they're not really going to be showing too much face, and it's important that they don't overextend where they don't need to. There you go. Looks like Bouncin is going to be the sole player holding the control. So far, minute 30. I'd say this is just pass mark. Nothing really to write home about. Player in Laundry, though, could be a little bit cheap.
Could be. Chiefs the ones, though, get that opening kill onto Onigiri. Was a very impactful player in round 2, so not really going to have as much of an impact this time around. Angry X hears the phone buzzing, but gets absolutely swung on by Ethan. Chiefs running away with this round so far.
DCH trading out for the DMR this time. With Onigiri down, he could step up. Ethan continuing to waste time down on the second floor could be dramatically an issue for Elevate. Should they not be able to confirm it? How has he found another kill there? That should not happen. Bouncing in the meantime, taking down Mark Sapper, the only player remaining. Rips the head off of Bouncing. Full HP, but I don't give him any props in this one. Surely not.
Definitely really tough for Sapper, but hey, he's got that LMG. He can certainly pre-fire for days. Might be able to pick up a couple, find himself an opening. Unfortunately, though, for Sapper, less than 30 seconds on the clock. Doesn't have diffuser in the hands either. It's going to be a bit of a tough one for him to salvage.
15 seconds. As he edges around the corner, Crossfire is being held from the Chiefs very deep in sight, so sure, he'll be allowed to step into Cocktail, but it's where he goes from there that just becomes incredibly difficult. Players peeking from Pixel. They know that they've got the opportunity. They may as well have a bit of fun, see if they can find a freebie. And it's Sapper that's given the freebie in the end. But Chiefs will take a second round here, and it's really important on their defense. 3-3, 4-2. They cannot let this get out of hand.
Yeah, looking good so far from Chiefs, but of course, we talked about it a little bit as we started the match, and even the desk touched on it as well. Kafe presenting itself heavily defender-sided whenever it's played. So you would definitely be expecting Chiefs to be going a 4-2 half, even a 5-1 could certainly be possible. I think for Elevate, it's really just about getting as many attacks as possible. And look, if they get to a 3-3 scoreline, it's going to be looking good for Elevate going into that defense half. But Chiefs have really been showing up on these defenses so far. I think particularly outside of the kitchen, those defense wins have been looking pretty strong.
Indeed they have. Probably look for what lineup Elevate are really taking on this mining defense. They really struggled with time management. Feel like potentially a Jackal coming in here could really speed up some of this progress on this top floor, as it does seem to be one of the main points of any defense. You can see how much emphasis you're going to have from the Chiefs up there. An extended pixel hold by the looks of things. You're also going to have a long line hold from the back of bar. So it's not going to be easy by any means, but if Elevate is known for one thing, it can be their speed, it can be their timing. I think they need to lean into it here.
Could do. Look, it definitely worked for them on the kitchen site in terms of keeping it simple and moving with a bit more pace to give themselves that time to just get things set up. So it's a bit harder on some of these other bomb sites. You know, there's not as a simple direct path, at least, onto this one. And look, for Chiefs, they've got Boydie here on the pulse, getting a lot of great info, calling all these players heading up towards the roof or heading up towards that top floor in general. So, yeah, I think it's going to be pretty important for Elevate to use these next 45 seconds in particular quite well and try and get some kind of penetration towards Cocktail.
Well, Ethlin on the mirror is going to make life even more difficult. Elevate bit by bit. Really, it is hitting those benchmarks. It is starting to, or check marks, I should say, and not really wasting too much time. The pulse from Boydie is so impactful on this site. It just gives far too much to the defensive side. You can see it's used to perfection. Worthy finding the first kill, yet to have more damage done to them. The Chiefs are buying so much time for themselves at the late round when Piano's only just starting to be controlled by Elevate.
Yep. Really important for Onigiri here too. If he does find Boydie, which he does, that's finally a lot of that info gathering from the Chiefs taken off. But Onigiri loses a long-range gunfight there to Ethan. Ethan not able to finish it off. He knows that nailed it down. Onigiri can kind of bait this out from that mirror position. He's very safe over there. And Elevate obviously want to try and save Onigiri if they can. He can't crawl anywhere, so it's a bit of a loss at this stage for Elevate unless they somehow manage to win an engagement or deal with this mirror position.
They're going to cut ties here. Time is ticking and they're just running out of all opportunity. Shotgun up close doesn't work for Digital. Sapper opens things up, but you got to realize it's not a 4v3. It is in fact a 3v3 until Onigiri gets picked up, which I believe someone just made it across to Piano. This is now massive for the attacking side. If they can start to bring this back, if they can start to get in the face of the Chiefs, they will not be given an option. Oh, hello.
Be really big here. Good progress from DCH. Chiefs need to be careful because losing one or two picks quick could really turn the tide of the round. Mark gets one, DCH gets the other. That's the two quick picks they needed. Worthy tags low here, Manic. Elevate may have just turned this one around.
Oh, but don't count him out just yet. 1 HP in a dream. He wants to vault. It's not going to get any further. I thought there was a moment. There was a moment. There was a belief system put in place. It's Worthy after all, but no, Elevate. Too good in the end there. Really, I thought the Chiefs had everything going for them. They had 30 seconds left and there was no top floor control from Elevate. Boy, oh boy, how quickly things can change.
That's right, things did change quite quickly there. And look, absolute props to Elevate. Really didn't feel like they were in a more winnable position than it ended up being. But some really sharp shooting and good progress on that time really meant that Chiefs put back into the corner. And yeah, look, I think I was with you there, Manic. Worthy, you know, if he's in a 1vx situation, you never can quite count him out. That being said, though, this stage, he's only had one successful 1vx, and that was actually during playoffs, which is a little uncharacteristic for him, I guess. I feel like I remember him getting more last year, but, you know, hard to compare the years. Roster's very different for Chiefs in particular. It's not reliant so much on Worthy having some of those big performances.
No. It's kind of, I find it really interesting. You know, the change that was made from the Chiefs with God Legion and Fisho dropping out of the roster, I thought that was probably one of the most bold moves that I'd seen in terms of an esport org changing rosters, changing players. But given time, this roster has started to flourish, you know, kind of blossom, if you will, into the flower that they are now. But the big point is going to be international performances. Sure, we saw them at Sweden. As Guz touched on the desk, wasn't all that convincing. Now they get to go back and they get to showcase what they're truly about, what this new roster can truly do. I've seen this before, Raven. I think it's time. Raven, you have unfortunately DC'd, and so the point that you make is null and mute. This is an unbelievable C4. It's actually going to catch. Oh, DCH. Catch that one. Boydie literally pinpoint perfect. As now, Elevate, they've wasted a little too much time. We're going to hope for Onigiri to come up clutch. Chiefs, they hold on, and Onigiri just walks into a crossfire, an absolute meat grinder.
Well, thankfully I'm back to watch that meat grinder happen. And it's unfortunate it hasn't paid off for Elevate. I can totally respect the attempt. But look, they've got one pick back there, taking out Bouncer, who's been performing pretty well so far for Chiefs in this half. So not bad if they manage to get another one. Back at even man count might be doable here. And Worthy has not seen that play, but it doesn't matter because Mark didn't see him either. 2 versus 4 in favor of Chiefs in this defense as Angry X is in a gunfight as well. This is really not working out for Elevate.
Already repositioning back around mining. Perfect timing as well. Worthy coming up behind is going to cause Elevate a bit of stress. Boydie's not looking to overpeak, but with Ethan going down, if they give a little bit too much here, Elevate could well and truly bring this back, and they're going to do it as well. Oh, Sapper! All right. He wants none of it. Does not give a damn whether you're on his team or not. He's looking to play with a bit of a handicap here. Kit down in kitchen, so Sapper, he's going to have to go for kills if he doesn't get a move on, sorry.
Yep, player on white though, big opportunity here for Sapper, not going to take it. Worthy closes that one out. And look, unfortunate for Sapper, because if he didn't get that team kill when it happened, it would have been a 2v2.
Yep.
Totally savable for Elevate, but just wasn't to be.
Certainly would have been savable. A bit disappointing that they are unable to make anything of that. Now, I just want to comment on the Amaru pick. Nothing wrong with an Amaru pick. As much as some people may think, yeah, sure, it's a bit of a troll sometimes. We have seen Amaru's work time and time again, but I think it's really down to what your operator lineup is. If you have something that kind of works hand in hand, you know, anyone like a Lion, a Finker, even a Dockerby, you know, something that kind of distorts the audio of the defense, there is a chance that you could get in and really cause some havoc. But the lineup that I have was just not favoring any kind of shenanigans. So I would love to see Elevate reattempt that. Maybe not in this game, maybe not even in the next game. But if we do head to a third map, that could be something that I could see really catching off the Chiefs. Regardless, top floor now, and we see the Echo finally come out to play.
Yeah, seeing a bit of Echo start to come back in a little bit, and Kafe is certainly a map that we do see quite a bit of Echo played as well. So yeah, I like seeing that in the lineup. Interesting scoreline though. I think if Chiefs don't win this one, it's kind of under the par mark, as we say, for defense. Rounds win, or one I should say, on Kafe. So big opportunity for Elevate right here. If they manage to get this and take a 3-3 half, it's a really great performance from them.
Typically 4-2 halves is where we kind of see rounds or maps finish at the halftime break for Kafe. It has always been quite a defender-sided map, so Elevate really could cause a little bit of discomfort for the Chiefs headed into the second half if they're able to confirm this. But I've seen Worthy in this position before. Piano has been quite deadly for this man. When he does play aggressive, I tell you what, he can do some damage. Doesn't look like Elevate are playing into it just yet.
Doesn't look like it. Being very patient right here on this round. Looks like there's a little bit of indecision on the push, but either way, Sapper has managed to find Ethan. And going deep is Sapper finding a second one. This has already been quite fruitful. Worthy finally answers back, but man, that was a surprising little 20-second period there, Manic.
Worthy going from Piano all the way down to kitchen. I have absolutely no idea. Obviously, Hatch dropping all the way down. Regardless, he does find one back, but now he's isolated. And if Elevate are smart, they'll play into this. It looks like Onigiri is really hungry for this kill. I don't think you want to give Worthy the opportunity. All it takes is a headshot. And PX as well, he could do some ridiculous damage.
Good, but Onigiri, DMR in hand. This is a comfort zone thing for him. Gonna hang out in the corner near red. Sounds like Worthy heard the footsteps. You know, it looks like he knew something was going on here. This is gonna be a bit of a game of cat and mouse. be quite a pivotal pick. This is the difference between the 3 versus 3 or the 4 versus 2. And of course, it is Onigiri that prevails, having quite the game so far. Elevate in a great position, made better by Mark. All on the shoulders now of Bouncing to salvage this half for the Chiefs. Oof.
Oh, Onigiri. No salvaging for the Chiefs. A 3-3 half as we turn the tides. And truly, Kafe is always a tale of two halves. And as we head to the defense for Elevate, I can tell you right now, they are going to be aggressive. They are going to be hard to keep a handle on. The monitoring of this team when they're on the defense is something to behold. Thorn being brought in once again. I've really been quite interested by the Thorn's play. Obviously, you know, you can go for... more often than not, I would dare say you're probably playing Thorn for the weapon. When you see it on Onigiri, you can almost be damn certain he doesn't give a damn about the utility. He doesn't give a damn about the gadget. He's going to pop off. So keeping a close eye, a close monitor in this round. Chiefs have got to be careful that they do not allow Elevate to start off with a tremendous lead.
Definitely not. This could get ugly pretty quick. You know, a couple of quick rounds for Elevate puts them very close to that match point and very close, of course, even securing the first map. So yeah, look, I think this is a bit of pressure for Chiefs from the get-go. You know, if they manage to secure this first round, it's a bit of a statement, right? They need to kind of give themselves that advantage back. They looked really good in that first half, but again, credit to Elevate for being able to bring that half back. It felt like it might have been, I think I said at one point, Chiefs moving towards a 5-1. And Elevate 2 quick rounds in a row. I really stopped that.
Crazy how quick games can turn around. Ethan actually playing the Thatcher here. So finally going to see the impact that this could well have. But you don't really want to be too isolated. He is all the way on the eastern side, the eastern balcony, if you will. Time a factor on this side. I feel like on the top floor, you are awarded a lot more leniency. This is dangerous. This is really dangerous. DCH could well and truly look for a jump out. Wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. It's not going to happen this time, but he does just fade away with the hatch still open.
Does even, you know, like he scared the player off the position, right? So that's even something. It slows down Chiefs a little bit further, reposition. You know, repelling up and down constantly takes time here. So, if anything, it's a really small amount of time delay. Chiefs just really trying to get this window pressure in towards Elevate. And Bouncing's going to have to be really careful. There is a player playing quite low on the white stairs there. Could get that peek out onto the rappel. But this is getting good for Chiefs here in terms of time management. Zappa, though, great position. Shut down by Boydie. That drone coming at just the right time to facilitate the peek.
That is absolutely unbelievable. The timing has been near and perfect. ECH really being a bit of a thorn in the side, if you will, even though we've already got one in the server. No one is in a position to flush DCH out. He just needs to stay alive here. There's a player towards Cigar. He could get aggressive. Boydie's done so. In the meantime, looks to try and find the trade. In fact, Boydie down on the ground. Don't know whether he's in a retrievable position. Mark has advanced to try and support DCH. This is going to be won or lost in piano right now. And it looks like it's won for Elevate. They quickly sweep up the Chiefs. Janitorial duties to the fullest effect. Hang on. What?
Hang on a second. They've really flipped it there. DCH left alone now, Rob, as Digital goes for the plan, and Ethan just shuts him down in the end. Unbelievable turnaround from Chiefs. Mark and DCH just did work in piano, and all for naught in the end.
Geez, that was, again, a round of only seconds that play into that. Elevate maybe overextending just a little bit too much. Digital and I believe that was Ethan. They capitalize on what is there. That was pretty dangerous. Pretty dangerous little move. Certainly giving Chiefs a nice little breath of fresh air heading into this one. It looks like Elevate are going to reattempt that. So no castle this time though. And probably no piano shenanigans, or at least I hope not.
Yeah, we'll see. The Thorn coming in through though from Onigiri. Don't see a whole lot of Thorn, so it's always interesting to see it in a lineup and see exactly how it's used. whether the gadget is really the key pillar there, or it's more about the comfort on fragging with that Uzi, which can be, you know, quite a comfortable gun to use on a roam in particular. So definitely going to keep an eye on that one.
Look who it's on, Raven. You tell me. What's it for? Is it for gadget or is it for firepower? You tell me.
Look, I feels like it's such a rarity to see Onigiri not using a single fire weapon, you know, or a semi-automatic weapon. So to see him actually with that in hand could be quite deadly. I'm excited to see how this goes.
And of course, speaking of the devil, not shy of getting in the faces of the Chiefs whatsoever. Oh, the repeat is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting from Onigiri. He'll get away scot-free as well. Oh, that's not great for Worthy.
No, not great for Worthy. He's on camera duty for the next 2.5 minutes at best, so that's not great for Chiefs. They're also going on the back foot for the rest of the round, or at least for the next part of the rounds with this man disadvantage. Thankfully, I guess for Chiefs, the Nomad, in terms of strategy, probably doesn't play into a big part of it. Obviously, it can help just stunt some of the runouts. You know, you forget the air jabs, so you don't have to be constantly watching them. But yeah, ultimately, it's not really going to stop the Chiefs from progressing. They're just going to have to be careful with drones. The good thing is, Worthy can watch any drones that they're set for them right now.
Certainly can. DCH. Is he going to be able to stay alive? No. Bouncing just sees the tip of the head, realizes the injure, and is the freebie once again. Onigiri popping up. And once again, I ask you the question, is it the weapon or is it the gadget? I'm hedging my bets here. It's the weapon every day of the week.
Yeah, look, it's feeling like it so far. He's having a good round with it. That's the 2 picks at least for Elevate on the round. You can hear that gadget popping up in the background, but you're right. It's just seeming like a bit of a comfort zone thing for Onigiri at this stage. But look, Chiefs are making some pretty decent progress with time here.
Hello?
Well, there's the gadget coming into play, Rob.
Okay, how did that just happen? Did he throw that? Where is he? Where is Onigiri right now? Oh, don't tell me he's in freezer. I think he is. He's thrown that while they're on the cams. Oh, no.
If that's the case, that's unbelievable. What a play if that is the case. We'll have to check that later, but Onigiri on an absolute tear right now with Thorn. He's on a 3K for the round. Mark combines for another. Suddenly, Digital all on his own, trying to salvage this one for Chiefs.
And it always scares me when I see Digital, because we're either going to see the dumbest thing you've ever seen on your screens, or one of the most nasty clutches ever. I'm kidding, Digital, I love you, but I love Onigiri more. 4K in the round. The Uzi showing full well why it is so impactful on a player such as the Menace himself. I am going to rewatch this VOD and see whether it was in fact... Oh, let's see whether the incredible team were able to capture it. Yeah, like it had to have been. Ethan was sitting on cams.
Yeah, it looked like it blew up on his toes.
It did.
It does look like it got thrown. Didn't quite see where from. We'll see if we can catch it on an outline and, you know, a different angle or something. But that was, look, an incredible play if that's the case. It's basically like using a C4, right? You just throw it up and after a little bit of time, it blows up. And it's a bit of time to get off the cameras, right? So that animation speed, even if you see a little icon pop up on your screen, probably doesn't really give you a whole lot of time to get out of danger. So
true.
Big round from Onigiri in total at 4K on that one, so I guess the Thorn really justified.
Yeah, on this occasion, the most justified operator we've seen so far on the defensive side. Now we head over Kitchen once more, and we've got Sapper on the Echo. That excites me as it is. Going to be very difficult for the Chiefs to go for a late round plan. Really nice little area for the Yokai to sit, but I want to more focus up on what the Chiefs are doing here. They're bringing the Monty, which for an Australian team is few and far between, let alone in this circumstance. Really, really want to see how they execute this.
Yep. So, you can see the carefulness as Chiefs approaching the map in general ever since that spawn peak last round from Onigiri. It's just the nature of playing Elevate on Kafe. You always have to be careful as you approach the building. But this is a pretty important round. There's always talk about it, you know, when you see 4-4, the next round puts somebody on 5. A bit of a power position, because it means they're one round away from at least forcing overtime, or obviously 1 round away from winning the entire map. So certainly business end of the map here, and it'll be pretty hard to separate these teams.
Yep. And it has. Oh, Boydie, what are you going to find here? Just the toes of DCH, who makes it away scot-free. Now they've got complete control of that second floor. They've got so much time. They have 2 soft breaches. So you know it's not going to take them any time whatsoever in getting to work. Bit of construction needing to be done here, but really it's probably about how long it takes them to find the Kaid clause. If they care about it, obviously Ethan's means you can mitigate that completely. Boydie, lucky to be alive though.
Very lucky. Dodged enough of that C4 to be able to stay in it. Getting some really good vertical control here. But he's going to be getting some of these progress points happening. So for example, potentially getting that hatch open or securing around VIP dining so they can push in through freezer. Something to facilitate that execute. And of course that hatch is now open. He's really giving themselves quite a decent amount of time actually to get set up.
That's it. When they were able to take that top floor and force DCH back, I think it was like a minute in. That is incredibly good time management. And really when you look to the Monty, this could really slow things down for Elevate when they try to play for the later round. And it looks like with Angry X going down, even more room is given up. In fact, Digital's all the way in. They're going to be able to play for these Yokais for the longest time. Oh, what? Hello?
That should...
No.
Banked on it a little too much. Probably didn't check that the Yokai was actually active. And of course, the EMP had kept it inactive. So now 30 seconds post-plant situation for Elevate to try and retake in this 3v5 situation. Certainly going to be tough, especially with Worthy gunning down 2 of them. All on Sapper's shoulders now.
And he's given up. Take the time, use it as attack pause. I'm saying right now, I have not seen a Thatcher being able to, you know, completely disregard the Yokais like that before. It's obviously in a position where it can definitely work and has worked to perfection. But that is the first time in 3 years of casting that I've seen it. Probably because Echo's been banned so much in the last 2 years. But yeah, wow, that's gnarly.
Yeah, we definitely don't see a whole lot of Echo, but yeah, like I think we talked about it earlier, Kafe does seem to bring out a little bit more Echo play, and in particular, that bomb site. So, look, really well executed from Chiefs there, and they've put themselves into that dangerous position. 1 round away from being on match point, of course, 2 rounds away from taking map 1. It's quite a good position to be in for Chiefs, especially because they've been weathering quite the storm from Elevate.
Yes.
We're really seeing a lot of back and forth between them.
Important that they have done as well. Last thing you want to be doing is giving a little bit too much up, you know? So, it's what, Skyscraper next? If I'm not mistaken. Quickly squeeze back, yeah. Cafe, Skyscraper, Chalet. So, I don't know. I don't know how I'll feel for Skyscraper. We've seen it from Elevate. I'm trying to think for the Chiefs, but it definitely leans into a confusing map for me. I still haven't quite wrapped my head around it competitively, but it has seemed to tend into a defensive side, as most maps do when they first come out, I guess. Regardless, focusing for really Elevate, this is like, it's obviously not your last chance, but the last thing you want to do is allow Chiefs to go to map point for 2 rounds in a row after this. So keeping this close, keeping this 5-5 is just 100% the focus. We get a reading, good opportunity to do so. What kind of top floor presence, if any, does Elevate have?
Let's have a good look.
Like there was a few players there hanging out, just on their from the outlines at least. But you see Chiefs sticking this Monty actually, because it looked like it did work out quite well for them. Yes, identifying that it's been a bit challenging to get the info they'd like on Elevate, or maybe just even progress on the info they have. That Monty does facilitate that to be obviously a lot easier. Digital also not having the the highest frag count of a game. Not really his role, but he has had some pretty good games this stage.
Yep.
So yeah, look, I think this decision to go on the Monty is really good.
Reloading, cover me.
Uh-oh. though.
Oh, God. Oh, no! No! Not like that. Of all the ways you could fall, not like that. A shame he doesn't have another cheeky little gadget in the back pocket. That could really be a bit of a nuisance for Digital, but they've forced him away from top red, and Worthy has been able to push in the meantime. So they've taken control of Cigar Balcony and the continuation of the shot. But still, with a minute 20 left, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to cut across the entire side of the map that they need.
Yeah, time definitely against them now. It took a fair chunk just trying to get this general access. Onigiri's going to meet face to face with the Monty and just run right away. And that's great.
Oh, he doesn't know. Oh, God, he does. Oh, God, sorry.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow. Angry X actually gets him. I realized just a second as Onigiri was running, I don't mean to cut you off, but he was sitting in the very corner, and then we cut to Digital looking completely the wrong way. Things are going from bad to worse here for the Chiefs. They cannot get a grip on this round. It has been running around since the very first minute, and now Worthy fights back, but in the 1 versus 3, there is far too much to do.
Especially so, Onigiri having another really great round on the Thorn. It's really working out for Elevate in that regard. Worthy 3 players to find. Certainly doable. You know, Onigiri is low HP.
Oh!
That's going to help, certainly. 1 versus 2 now. Worthy, 20 seconds to make it happen.
Nothing but a one tap. Tell you what, that's impressive. Now he's got the opportunity, but he's got a lot of fire in front of him. Canisters. Shamika's to boot. Straight across. Does he make it in? Oh, ooh, my word. Sapper nearly on the line of a headshot there. They nearly lined up, but it is Elevate that are fighting back. 5 apiece now. And this is going to be decided, I feel like, in OT, Raven. I feel like it's the only way to justify this map.
We are constantly going back and forth on rounds, and oh man, that is a bit of a yikes from Digital to just get the quick step from Angry X. It really put Elevate in such a good position on that round.
Here in the stage 1 playoffs. Boy, I hope that this is just a bit of a showing as to what is to come for the rest of this year between these two teams.
Look, certainly feels like it. Both these teams, great candidates for talking about the roster changes they've made and how well they've bounced back in stage 1. You know, Chiefs, of course, they did make the Sweden majors, so that's why we were kind of wondering why they made the roster changes. And same for Elevate, like they made it to SI and performed incredibly well, honestly, way beyond expectations of most people. So yeah, like I think the roster changes were always going to be quite interesting looking at stage 1. And look, here they are, quite at the tail end of APAC playoffs. They've both qualified for the Charlotte major, and they're both battling here now for some more favorable seeding going into that major. It's yeah, it's quite interesting, the storylines here of what's happened through stage 1 with those roster changes.
It is. Now, can Elevate tidy up? Because really, I feel like there's been multiple rounds where they have been in the favor, they have been in the good, and they've almost allowed Chiefs back into this game. If you tidy up the small little mistakes that have been made, I think that this becomes way too hard for the Chiefs to get back into. Remembering, we go down to Kitchen after this, and Elevate will not be making the same mistake they did in the prior. Looking at the castle, they're definitely going to be extended into piano. They're definitely going to be aggressive. Elevate, known for this kind of play style, Chiefs should be ready for it.
Could be, but even if you're ready for it, it can be a little tricky to deal with in general on occasion. So now they're going to have to be on the best of their abilities, especially Onigiri reprising the role on the Thorn. He's just said, boys, I'm fragging out on the Thorn, just let me play it. See whether it works out again for him on this round. But I like this approach from the Chiefs. This is the lesser known kind of approach for this attack. You know, the standard is take red, take piano. It's quite the tussle, and then you generally don't have much time for a plant. Well, this time around, it's trying to approach cocktail. Get in, get reading control. You try and get vertical to clear out cocktail, and then that creates that option for the plant.
Ball not forfeited from Elevate yet. Chiefs are taking their time and getting into position. Worthy on the edge of Skylight, I mean. Could we potentially see him caught out mark of all players as well? It's the Maestro that goes down. Now those cams are all but good for Intel, and that's about it. What's that noise?
character wincing there. But look, final minute. Onigiri, pretty important engagement here from the vertical lines, and he's going to be bested. No, he's not. I really thought Bouncin was about to win that. But Onigiri just diff on the Thorn right now. Constantly racking up these multi-kills, and now that's really unfortunate for Chiefs. 40 seconds to go. I have put some pressure in through Cocktail here, but it's not going to be a simple entry. At least Ethan taking out Giri makes these next 30 seconds a little bit more doable.
This is where push comes to shove. How good are Elevate? The take is going to be drastically different. It looks like a bit of a tension from every which way from the Chiefs. They're going to be taking the control up of White. Boydie, he's got the balcony control. They're going to take their time here. Digital looking for the long line, but the player has been able to get in behind the deployable shield. The plant must go down. Sapper finds Boydie. Ethan holding the white stairs, gets his head ripped off. And now in a 3 versus 2, Worthy, he's not in a position to cover Digital, but Digital sticks it anyway. If we can find this kill, they may well be in with an opportunity. Digital just making it around the corner. Worthy's gone down in the meantime, and I tell you what, Elevate on the retake, it is all too clean and too easy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Chiefs. They really just didn't have the grip needed to be able to secure that post plant. And it almost worked out. Like, the stuns masked the repellents down from Digital. Obviously, Elevate had no idea the plant was going down, did not aggress at all. Worthy wasn't even really in a position to defend Digital if they aggressed on his spot. So that was one thing, but I think really pivotal was unfortunately Ethan losing his gunfight on White Stairs. It just meant that extra gun to watch the runouts, for example, if they're going to play the repel. It was really needed in that post plant. So great job from Elevate to counter that one, and they've moved themselves to match point.
Honestly, I see them closing out from here. Chiefs in a 4 versus 3. Could have been a 5 versus 3 had Boydie not kind of been destroyed, or Bouncing, whoever it was, destroyed by Onigiri in between the bars. Regardless, with kitchen defense being the priority here, we're not seeing the Yokais again. Elevate opting not to give that away, and instead, most likely that VIP extension. I mean, I am interested to see with the smoke, you know, there are a couple of places you can play on site. The most common recently in the last 6 months has been across the VIP. You're going to see a little bit of it now. A couple of ADS devices being placed down by the Jaeger, potentially a deployable shield just on the edge. Whether or not they stick that or not, completely irrelevant if Chiefs go to the bakery side as we saw Elevate do.
Onigiri again! Oh, no! I was about to say again on the spawn peak would have been absolutely huge on match point, but Boydie capitalized on the slight whiff from Onigiri, could not finish off the frag. That puts Chiefs in a great position moving forward in this round to try and push this to OT. A great man count to start off with here, obviously having that man advantage, but I think more importantly, Onigiri off the board. He's been having such an impact with Thorn and just in the game in general.
That is a massive pick. You cannot look anywhere else at the moment. DCH wasting time with Mark up on the top floor. Oh my word, Boydie really gets a lucky little kill on the top side in towards Washroom. This will be interesting. Digital, does he know that he is in fact in Washroom? You bet your bottom dollar they do. Boydie, how does he win that? I thought Mark had him dead to rights after that. Bounces caught, DCH moving back down. It looks like we are well and truly headed to OT, Raven, but it's not over just yet.
No, look, I think Boydie, man, he's lucky to be alive after the 2 gunfights he's been in, but props to him just being sharp enough to come out on top. Still a very winnable 2v4 because Boydie, he is one shot no matter where you shoot him. Sapper has been able to take out Bouncin', so you know what? You take out Boydie and it's really just Worthy you have to worry about then. Digital doesn't really have weapons capable to really deal in a 2v1 situation. It's certainly going to be challenging on the Montaigne. So yeah, Elevate doing a good job to hold on to this one.
This is dangerous. Look how extended both the members of Elevate are. Sapper, he cannot lose this fight, and he doesn't. What is it with Elevate? They just do not give up. They have 1 player left in the server. They have 2 players left in the server. It doesn't matter. You can't count them out. Digital looks like he may well just have to send it here. 2 Smoke Babes and Sappers up close.
And that it also could be deadly for Boydie. Even if he pushes with Digital, it could really meet his demise here. This is a really tough position to Cheese to try to defend. Elevate certainly have to be careful here, and there it is, Boydie down, all on Digital's shoulders. He's got a big shield in his face and just a little pistol. This is going to be tough, Matic.
Little pistol for Digital. What can he get done? Absolutely nothing. From a 2 versus 4 position, Elevate bring it back. And a 1-0 up in the semi-final of the lower bracket.
Really well fought from Elevate, honestly. Like, Cheese did a great job through a lot of Kafe. And it was just the small things that got them ahead. Onigiri, look, you can't look past his performance. Great job in particular.